Stefano, if you can sit next to Lisa. Great. Good morning, everyone. Mr. Daniel Best, President of the Caribbean Development Bank. Ms. Lisa Harding, Division Chief, Private Sector Division, Caribbean Development Bank. Other members of the CDB leadership team, distinguished guests, panelists, partners, colleagues, and friends, both online and in person. Welcome to the Caribbean Development Bank Private Sector Division's launch of CDB PROPEL, formerly the Caribbean Technological Consultancy Services Network, the bank's flagship program dedicated to advancing micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises across our region and strengthening the ecosystem of business support organizations. My name is Natasha Edwin Walcott. I am the MSME coordinator within the Private Sector Division, and I'm honored to serve as your Master of Ceremonies for today's event. Just 2 days ago, on June 27th, we joined the global community in recognizing micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises, a day dedicated to celebrating the entrepreneurs, innovators, and risk-takers, those who drive economic growth, create jobs, and strengthen resilience in our economies. How fitting it is that today, coming on the heels of this recognition, we are not just celebrating MSMEs, we are taking action. Today's event represents a continuation of that momentum. It is about deepening impact, strengthening partnerships, and advancing initiatives that directly support MSMEs across our region. To formally begin our proceedings, it is my pleasure to invite the Division Chief of the Private Sector Division, Ms. Lisa Harding, to deliver welcome remarks. Lisa?
All protocols haven't been established, but of course, recognizing our president, Mr. Best. Welcome and good morning, everyone. It's a real pleasure to have you all, our partners here today, and also welcome to those online. I want to begin by asking you to imagine something. Imagine asking an entrepreneur in 1982 to run a business from a device that fits in the palm of their hand, to market products to customers they've never met, to receive payments without exchanging cash, to collaborate with partners across continents, or to have artificial intelligence help them to write a business plan, design a product, or develop a marketing strategy. 44 years ago, that would have sounded like science fiction. Today, it's simply doing business. That is how profoundly the world has changed since the Caribbean Development Bank established the CTCS network in 1982. Back then, there was no World Wide Web, no social media, no smartphones. Email was largely confined to research institutions. Caribbean entrepreneurs built businesses through handshakes, handwritten records, and strong relationships within their communities. Some of the earliest enterprises supported by CTCS have since closed, passed to the next generation, or evolved entirely into new businesses. While much has endured, even more has changed. Today's entrepreneurs not only compete locally, they're competing globally. They are navigating digital transformation, climate change, cybersecurity risks, shifting consumer expectations, and technologies that evolve almost daily. Increasingly, their success depends not only on what they build, but on the ecosystem around them, the strength of the institutions that support them, the quality of technical assistance available, and the speed at which knowledge is accessible, and the ability of partners like the CDB to help create an enabling environment where MSMEs can grow, adapt, and thrive. The pace of change has become the defining feature of entrepreneurship. And that brings us to a simple question, an urgent question. If the world has changed this much, should the way we support entrepreneurs not change as well? At the Caribbean Development Bank, we believe it must. The vision behind CTCS has never been more relevant. From the beginning, the program recognized a truth that remains as powerful as today. Businesses do not grow on financing alone. For more than 4 decades, CTCS has helped entrepreneurs strengthen their operations, improve product quality, adopt new technologies, access new markets, and build resilience. Today, we honor that legacy, but we also recognize a new reality. The entrepreneur we serve today is not the entrepreneur of 1982. They are more connected, more ambitious, more innovative, competing on a global stage from islands that many still describe as small. But there's nothing small about their ambition, and there should be nothing small about ours meaning CDB. That is where CDB PROPEL represents. It is CTCS evolved, a renewed commitment to ensuring that Caribbean entrepreneurs have access to the expertise, networks, and opportunities they need to compete, adapt, and thrive. Because when Caribbean entrepreneurs move forward, our businesses move forward, and our region moves forward. Today, we are not simply unveiling a new name. We are launching the next chapter in how the bank supports Caribbean enterprise, a chapter rooted in 4 decades of experience, inspired by the ambition of Caribbean entrepreneurs and focused firmly on the future. Welcome to CDB Propel.
Thank you, Lisa, for setting the tone for what promises to be a meaningful and impactful session. We now move to an exciting moment in our program, the unveiling of a visual identity that reflects our shared vision and commitment. Please direct your attention to the screen.
CTCS program has stood alongside entrepreneurs, helping them grow stronger, build resilience, and unlock opportunity. But the world has changed, and so have the needs of MSMEs. Today, success takes more than technical support. It requires guidance, the right tools, and strong connections to compete and succeed. Introducing CDB Propel, a new chapter inspired by progress. With arrowheads pointing forward, Propel represents momentum, growth, and the journey ahead. This is more than a rebrand. It reflects CDB's deepened commitment to entrepreneurs across the Caribbean. CDB Propel, empowering ambition, accelerating growth, transforming our region.
Thank you for that feature. At this point, it gives me great pleasure to invite our president of the Caribbean Development Bank, Mr. Daniel Best, to deliver his remarks. President.
Thank you, Natasha, Vice President of Corporate Services of the Caribbean Development Bank, Ms. Jillian Charles Gollop, distinguished partners and stakeholders, invited guests, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It is indeed a pleasure to be here with you this morning for this important occasion. And I want to thank you for joining us as we mark a significant milestone in the evolution of the Caribbean Development Bank support to micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises across our region. If it is your first time to the CDB campus, welcome as well. Friends, MSMEs are vital to our borrowing member countries. They account for between 70 to 85% of businesses, contribute between 60 to 70% of GDP, and provide about 50% of employment. The bank has long recognized the central role of MSMEs in driving economic and social development across our region. In 1982, and I must confess, when Lisa said 44 years, I was wondering what she was referencing. But 1982 really is 44 years ago, and it's disturbing that I actually remember 1982. But I'm sure many of us in here were not born back in 1982. But in 1982, we established the Caribbean Technological Consultancy Services Network, or as you heard earlier, CTCS. And we established it to mobilize regional expertise in order to help MSMEs strengthen their managerial and operational capacity and enhance their competitiveness. CTCS has also advanced the bank's broader development agenda by supporting renewable energy and energy efficiency, agriculture, youth development, and climate action, while reinforcing critical cross-cutting priorities such as gender equality, digitalization, and innovation. From 2015 to 2025, the bank approved approximately US $11.8 million for CTCS technical assistance activities. These interventions benefited more than 10,000 MSMEs and entrepreneurs. Ladies and gentlemen, I think by now most of you know me. I know that I like to speak in detail and about people. So let's get into detail. And allow me to share some of the successes of CTCS. The Future Tourism Project, implemented with UNDP, equipped over 150 MSMEs with training, mentorship, and US $700,000 in grants to accelerate digital transformation and business innovation in response to COVID-19. CTCS also supported financial inclusion by helping institutions such as the Bahamas Development Bank design tailored loan products and appraisal systems, and worked with the bank's Creative Industries Innovation Fund to address gaps in credit assessment for the creative sector. Ladies and gentlemen, CTCS also expanded opportunities for women entrepreneurs through the She Trades Caribbean Hub, and facilitated market access through partnerships with retailers like Massey Stores, resulting in improved product readiness, increased sales, and the tangible achievement of several businesses being formally invited to place their products on Massey store shelves. CTCS contributed to climate action by co-developing with SEDEMA a Caribbean vocational qualification program based on the updated code of practice for the construction of houses, aimed at improving the quality, safety, and disaster resilience of the housing sector across the region, while building a certified cadre of skilled artisans and contractors. Today's launch of CDB PROPEL, which builds on the tremendous legacy of CTCS, is not merely a rebranding exercise. It represents a broader strategic repositioning of the bank's flagship MSME Technical Assistance Program. We are moving from a demand-responsive model to a more targeted, programmatic approach aimed at delivering greater development impact, supporting priority sectors, and expanding access to technical assistance across our beautiful Caribbean. In support of this shift, the bank allocated US $5 million under the 11th cycle of the Special Development Fund for MSME technical assistance through CDB PROPEL for the period 2025 to 2028. This investment will strengthen the program's financial capacity and enhance its impact on the MSME sector. in line with the bank's strategic plan 2026 to 2035. This more targeted approach will support a key strategic objective of building economic resilience while advancing key operational priorities, investing in youth, strengthening institutions, and accelerating climate action. So as we expand our private sector development initiatives to better support and propel MSMEs, a more structured and deliberate work program has been introduced. Central to this approach are calls for proposals, which serve as a transparent and competitive mechanism to identify, select, and implement high-impact MSME development projects across the region. These calls are designed to attract innovative ideas and partnerships, align interventions with national and regional priorities, and ensure that resources are directed towards initiatives with the greatest potential for scalability, sustainability, and measurable results. In closing, I encourage all of us to fully embrace CDB PROPEL. I am confident that it will enhance visibility, reinforce the bank's forward-looking vision, and more effectively communicate the value proposition of our flagship MSME Technical Assistance Program to a new generation of entrepreneurs and development partners. If we are bold in our collaboration and deliberate in our action, we will not only strengthen MSMEs, we will build more resilient economies, create meaningful opportunities, and improve lives across our beloved Caribbean. I thank you.
Thank you, President, for those insightful and forward-looking remarks. At the heart of today's event are the entrepreneurs and businesses that bring these initiatives to life. At this point, we turn our attention to their voices and lived experiences. It is often said that the true measure of impact lies in the stories of those who benefit. We are pleased to present a testimony from one of our MSME beneficiaries sharing firsthand how these initiatives have made a difference. Please join me in welcoming Ms. Kellyanne Alicott of Apogee Labs as she shares a few words about her business journey. Kellyanne?
Good morning, everyone. I was truly honored when Mr. Thomas from CDB reached out to me and invited me to share a few words. So rather than doing a PowerPoint presentation, I think it was more fitting to share it as a story. A few years ago, I found myself grappling with a difficult decision, whether I wanted to begin the entrepreneurial journey again. I reflected on previous experiences, lessons learned, successes, and challenges. And I asked myself how I could use these experiences to build something stronger this time around. I knew I wanted my next venture to be rooted even deeper in sustainability and the circular economy, while still connecting with my passion for skincare and science. Like many Bajans, I watched the growing sargassum problem with concern. I saw the impact it was having on our coastlines, our communities, and our tourism industry. But I also found myself wondering if there was another side to the story to tell. What else could this classified nuisance become? That simple question is what led me to reimagine sargassum and its possibilities. My name is Kellyanne Alicott, and I'm the founder of Apogee Labs, a Barbados-based business focused on redefining how cosmetic ingredients are conceptualized and created through the synergy of science, source, and sustainability. While exploring this idea of creating a cosmetic extract from sargassum seaweed, an ingredient we now call Sarga Active, I received an email from the lovely Dr. Brandon at COSO, who introduced me and encouraged me to participate in the CTCS Climate Launchpad program for the Combined Islands. As many entrepreneurs know, the self-saboteur often speaks first. It gives you every reason why you should not apply. The concept was not, the concept was still new. The research was still in development mode. And my first round of testing, I had only been done with my family members. I tried to convince myself that I wasn't ready. That's the honest truth. Thankfully, I chose not to listen to that voice and entered anyway. That decision ended up changing a great deal for me as I became the first place winner of the competition. While my goal While my goals was never simply to create skincare products, the experience reinforced something important. Innovation often begins with curiosity and the courage to pursue an unconventional idea. Participating in Climate Launchpad was a significant step in my journey. The program provided mentorship, guidance, and the support that helped me strengthen my business model, refine my ideas, and gain confidence in the direction I was heading. One of the things that stood out most for me was learning how to communicate my idea clearly. The program introduced a simple 9-slide presentation model that challenged us to explain our business in a way that anyone, even a 5-year-old, could understand. It sounds simple, but it was incredibly powerful. To this day, I still use that same presentation framework whenever I'm pitching, presenting, or explaining my business to others. Experiences like that are exactly why I believe initiatives like this are more than necessary at this point. Being an entrepreneur in the Caribbean is not an easy path. It's still not viewed as a traditional career route for many. Being a circular economy entrepreneur is even more challenging, as the concept is still relatively new across our region. Today, I'm still learning, researching, and developing. My vision is to continue exploring how sargassum can be transformed into high-value products while contributing to more sustainable and circular economies in Barbados and the region. To take those next steps, entrepreneurs like myself need continued technical assistance, particularly in research, testing, product development, and scaling production. When I think about the future, I don't just see seaweed on a beach or discards as just waste. I see possibilities. New industries, new products, new opportunities for people across Barbados and the wider Caribbean. And that is why this launch is so important. It allows startups to see environmental challenges as opportunities for innovation, economic growth, and entrepreneurship. As the entrepreneurs of today from the region should not only be for profit, but for preservation of culture, community, and the environment. I would truly like and sincerely thank CDB, CCIC, and all the partners involved in supporting entrepreneurs like myself and creating programs that help turn these ideas into action and solutions. Your investment in innovations and entrepreneurships mean more than you know, and I'm excited about what is coming next. Thank you.
Thank you, Kellyanne, for this powerful testimony, a reminder of why this work truly matters. Look forward to trying your products as well. At this point, we will view a short video demonstrating our impact. Turn your attention to the screens, please.
The training basically comprised of 3 components. We had the agribusiness training component, we had a mushroom production training, and what is being done here now is that since they have completed those 2 components of the training, they are now being distributed with their grow bags so that they can nurture and grow their mushrooms.
Today we got our grow bags at the end of the mushroom program, and we got good results, as in the mushrooms will start growing, developing. And as we got our own bags, we could have seen the progress. We can now monitor them and make sure they're in good condition.
So I believe this is effective in terms of keeping them occupied, but most importantly, it falls in line with our mandate, which is to help turn skills into entrepreneurship.
Special attention is extended to the Caribbean Development Bank for providing essential funding, and the Prime Minister, Honorable Philip J. Pierre, for his visionary leadership in establishing the YE.
My journey began with wedding and event decorating, and from there I moved into linen and drapery design, and eventually soap and skincare. My business was flowing, but I know it was missing something. So when I joined the program, it opened my eyes to the vast variety of things I was leaving out. For instance, the continuity planning. I was not planning ahead for like 20 years. I was just planning ahead for 1 year or 2 years. I would like to say a hearty thank you to CDB for helping me scale my business.
The whole focus of the company is to commercialize a technology called Vector 1, short for vehicle exhaust and carbon capture in 2 Model 1s. And we've partnered with CCIC, who basically had an incubator program.
The outcome since he's been a part of the program, we have been given opportunity to take part in multiple competitions as well as presented to international bodies.
It's very important if you're coming into this as a new entrepreneur that you get into the network as early as you can, participate, go to events, get to know people. You never know who you end up speaking with. It could be an investor, it could be the next person who might invite you to an accelerator, and next thing you know, you're running a better business or running a better company as an outcome. So thank you, Caribbean Development Bank.
And thank you, CCIC, for supporting our business over the years.
Thank you so much. These are powerful reminders of why the work we do is so important. At this stage, we now broaden the discussion through a dynamic roundtable featuring key partners and stakeholders who are instrumental in strengthening the MSME ecosystem across the Caribbean. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Michelle Thomas, Senior Operations Officer within the Private Sector Division, who will moderate the panel. Michelle, the floor is yours.
Pleasant good morning to everyone. Those of you joining us in person and online. To begin, let me please set the context for the upcoming panel discussion. As you have heard, the Caribbean Development Bank supports MSME development in the region through CTCS, the bank's flagship technical assistance program. This program is delivered primarily through national and regional business support organizations. And in doing so, these institutions also receive support from CDB to help strengthen their own capacity, to help them to put them in a position where they can provide improved or more effective services to the MSMEs that they serve. As we celebrate MSME Day 2026, we take this opportunity to highlight some of our interventions and to also showcase some of the outcomes that have derived from the projects we have implemented in collaboration with business support organizations across the region. Today's panelists represent business support organizations that we have partnered with to implement projects, or in cases where they have also received technical assistance to promote entrepreneurship, strengthen institutional capacity, improve MSME management and operations, build resilience to climate change, and expand access to finance. Before we begin the discussions, please permit me to introduce our distinguished panelists. Beginning with Ms. Sharon Bovell, to my immediate left. Ms. Bovell is a seasoned tourism professional. She currently serves as Director of Resource Mobilization and Development at the Caribbean Tourism Organization, CTO, where she guides resource mobilization, sustainable and regenerative tourism, and people development. In this role, she leads initiatives that strengthen the region's tourism competitiveness and build capacity among industry professionals. Our next panelist, to the left of Ms. Bovell, is Mr. Carlington Burrell. As CEO of the Caribbean Climate Innovation Center, CCIC, Mr. Burrell spearheads efforts to cultivate a thriving ecosystem for sustainable entrepreneurship, empowering startups and early-stage companies to develop scalable solutions for climate challenges. Under his leadership, the CCIC has become a catalyst for green industry growth, fostering innovation, facilitating access to capital, and strengthening regional capacity in clean technology. Next to him is Ms. Cardell Ferguson. Ms. Ferguson is the General Manager of the Barbados Youth Business Trust, BYBT. She leads the organization's efforts to support aspiring and emerging entrepreneurs through training, mentorship, access to finance, and business development services. Through her leadership, BYBT continues to play a pivotal role in fostering entrepreneurial success and promoting economic empowerment among youth and underserved communities. And last but not least, we have Mr. Ford Joseph, who is the president of the board of the Banque Nationale de Développement Agricole in Haiti, BNDA in short. He provides strategic leadership to transform BNDA into Haiti's first universal bank, serving agricultural and non-agricultural MSMEs nationwide. He guided BNDA's restructuring, strengthened its governance and risk framework, and led the transformation of its new 2025-2030 strategic plan. His work focuses on expanding financial inclusion, promoting food security, and building resilient financial systems. So let's begin our conversation. Welcome, panelists, and thank you for coming. Yes. CDB supports initiatives aimed at youth development and empowerment, particularly to create employment opportunities. In this context, the bank partnered with the Barbados Youth Business Trust to implement a pilot project titled Strengthening the Entrepreneurial Spirit of Caribbean Youth, which seeks to address youth empowerment by promoting entrepreneurship. Ms. Ferguson, can you share with us your thoughts on how CTCS support has strengthened your organization and other youth-serving agencies in building capacity and creating opportunities for young persons in the region?
So good morning, everyone. Thank you again for the invitation to be part of this panel. And thank you again to CDB, all of our great friends from CDB, for the support that you've given to us over the years. A little bit about BYBT before I get started. BYBT was started over 32 years ago, and our objective was to help young persons who are interested in business startup and interested in becoming more if you want to say that. So looking at their situation and being able to achieve something for themselves. BYBT over the years has supported the establishment of over 7 other organizations in the Caribbean to support youth and businesses to grow. And so that's why BYBT has created a space where we are regional coordinator for the entrepreneurship methodology in these territories. All right. So in answer to the question now, BYBT has benefited from the CDB and the CDB programs. And through this CTCS program, it has been instrumental in strengthening our institutional capacity. So what it's done for BYBT and the wider entrepreneurial ecosystem in Barbados and across the region is that it has enabled us to modernize and expand our entrepreneurship development programs, our training, our mentoring program, our support for the entrepreneurial ecosystem in terms of networking events, activities, those kind of things. So we have been able to equip people with practical business skills while strengthening the systems that support them and also delivering high quality business development support services. Beyond Barbados, what we've been able to do is create greater collaboration among the different players in the entrepreneurial ecosystem in the Caribbean. We, as youth serving organizations across the Caribbean, has created opportunities for knowledge sharing through research, through conferences. And we just finished another summit, which we had Lisa representing the bank at. Peer learning, exchanges of best practices, and allowing organizations to learn from each other. Because that is how we feel that we are able to contribute to the adaptation and adaptation, the O and the A, of innovative approaches across the region. I'm going to stop here for the time being.
Thank you, Ms. Ferguson. And I wish to commend your organization for the work it's doing in supporting the development of young persons in the region. And I look forward to a continued collaboration. The tourism sector remains a prime economic driver for several CDB board member countries, with many MSMEs operating both directly and indirectly within the industry. Recognizing its importance, CDB, through the CTCS program, partnered with the CTO to implement initiatives such as the Caribbean Hospitality Assured program and the project enhancing the knowledge and skills of tourism workers in the Caribbean. Ms. Bonfield-Bovell, could you share your perspective on the impact of CTCS support to CTO, particularly in strengthening the managerial and operational capacity, as well as the competitiveness of tourism-related MSMEs? Additionally, the two-barrel question, we would welcome your insights on how this support has contributed to enhancing hospitality service studies, curricula, and training programs across the region.
Well, good morning, and thank you for having me here this morning. You know, the CTO has had a relationship with the CDB, especially through the CTCS, for more than 13 years, more than the 13 years that I have been with the organization. And we really have to express our sincere gratitude for all of the support and guidance that we have received. I said to Mr. Thomas, I'm walking up here with my laptop because I'm not pretending to remember everything that they have done to assist us. And so, you know, I have my prop. So, but truly, the CDB's support through CTCS has been transformative, to say the least, because it's enabled the CTO to move beyond just delivering individual, disconnected capacity building and developmental programs to really move towards creating a truly integrated regional human capital and MSME developmental ecosystem. And I've been hearing the word ecosystem for the whole morning because it's very important. What we do depends on so many others. And so the starting point for us was understanding the challenges that the sector was facing. So through the regional human resource development knowledge and skills audit, which began with the support of CTCS, again through CDB, we were able to identify critical gaps in workforce skills, curriculum relevance, labor shortages, digital readiness, and employer needs across 18 Caribbean territories. And that evidence has since informed the designs of our interventions. So you just spoke about hospitality assured. So on the enterprise side, CDB support strengthened our hospitality assured Caribbean certification program, which is an internationally recognized quality standard and certification program, which is managed by the Caribbean Tourism Organization in the region. And it helps tourism MSMEs to improve service quality, customer experience, operational management, and business performance. And building on that success, then we developed something called the Business and Professional Excellence Development Series, again, with CTCS's support, which transformed the 9-step hospitality assured framework into some practical micro learning programs and self-paced online courses that makes business improvement far more accessible to MSMEs across the region. So more recently, you spoke about the Tourism Human Capital Development Project, and we just completed component 1 and moved into component 2. CDB's funding has enabled us to modernize tourism education and workforce development by updating, for example, the Caribbean Common Core curriculum in tourism and hospitality across associate degree and certificate programs. And it's allowed us to develop a workforce management engine competency framework that's been helping to assist businesses across the tourism sector, delivering digital transformation support to MSMEs. And then also just strengthening the tourism, what we call the tourism talent pipeline, beginning at primary and secondary schools all the way through tertiary into the workforce. So taken together, these initiatives are really helping us to address regional tourism competitiveness from multiple angles. So we have better businesses, we have better leaders, better educators, we have better workers, better visitor experiences, and ultimately better communities. So rather than solving individual problems, CDB's involvement has really allowed us to lay the foundation for a regional ecosystem.
Thank you, Ms. Bovell. The work we have been doing with CTO is indeed very important for the sector. As we know, the tourism industry is the backbone of most of CDB's board member countries. And we look forward to continue working on the ongoing project and any additional interventions we need to pursue to enhance the competitiveness of tourism-related MSMEs in the sector. Thank you. Access to finance is a key driver to MSME development and success, particularly in fragile states such as Haiti. Mr. Joseph, kindly address CTCS support to the development of the Banque Nationale de Développement Agricole, BNDA's 5-year strategic plan, with specific emphasis on how this support has strengthened the bank's institutional capacity to expand access to MSMEs in Haiti's agricultural sector.
Thank you. I'm very delighted to meet with all of you today. It's my high pleasure to be with you, and thank you for having me. CTCS support has been fundamental for BNDA's transformation at a decisive moment in our institutional evolution. The technical assistance during the 2024 institutional assessment and the development of our 2025-2030 strategic plan gave us what we urgently needed: a clear evidence-based understanding of our structural constraints and the reforms required to expand access to finance for agricultural and non-agricultural MSMEs. The CTCS process strengthened BNDR in three essential ways. First, it provides strategic clarity, helping us redefine our business model at a universal inclusive bank. Second, it enhances institutional capacity, particularly in governance, risk management, and operational processes. Third, it fostered internal alignment by engaging our teams in a structured analytical exercise that improve coordination and decision making. In short, CTCS support did more than help us develop a strategic plan. It strengthened the institutional foundation needed for BNDA to serve as a national platform for inclusive finance in Haiti. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Joseph. Just to share with the audience, Mr. Joseph's presence here was a last-minute addition. And I wish to thank the Haiti Country Office for pulling all strings together to ensure that he is here today with us. So thank you, Mr. Joseph. And as you're aware, the work that we have been doing with Haiti, especially with your institution, will continue as we seek to ensure that it's in a position to provide increased access to finance for the MSMEs. The development of innovative products that mitigate the impacts of climate change and strengthen resilience is critical in today's environment. The Caribbean Development Bank remains firmly committed to advancing this agenda. Mr. Burrell, please share the Caribbean Climate Innovation Center's experience with CTCS support for the implementation of the Enhancing Capacity of Clean Tech Entrepreneurs in Building Resilience to Climate Change project. We would also welcome your insights on noteworthy innovative products and services developed through this very important initiative.
Thank you, Michelle. Morning, everyone. Morning. It's good to be here. In terms of our entrepreneurs, you'd have seen two, one presented this morning and another one on the video. But one of the things I want to speak about the CTCN network. Yeah. When we were applying for the project with CDB, there's a component where you have to work with a consultant to write the proposal. I thought that was an excellent proposal writer on my team. Apparently, there's a lot to learn. It was a very tedious process. And every time, I think I would have submitted an excellent proposal. It came back with new additions, a new perspective, new lens, new this, new that. And it was a lot to learn, I must say. So that component of the program, I think, is an excellent program component. And I think that should be back as a part of PROPEL. It really strengthened the process of ensuring you're getting quality application. And we as an institution had a lot to learn as well. And as a result of that, we were able to impact 13 of 14 CARICOM market countries. We were able to work with all the partners we worked with for the Climate Launchpad program. We partner with Climate Kick in launching our Climate Launchpad program across the Caribbean. Specifically, we work with 5 countries, but all the other countries could apply. Through one of these countries was Jamaica, Trinidad and Tobago. And in Trinidad, we had BCS Business Consulting Group, Barbados. In Barbados, we had Dr. Marcia Brandon through our company COESL. And we also work with BIDC. In St. Lucia, we work with AGIT, can't remember all the acronyms at this point in time. In Suriname, we work with the ministry there. So we work with the government, with the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Commerce. And so we were able to impact all our partners. I would like to say, at our core, we work with partners So we strengthen partner institution to support the entrepreneurs they support. One other thing I want to highlight is that we started, CCIC this year celebrate 11 years in existence. And one of the things we want to ensure is sustainability. And CDB allowed us to have 2 train-the-trainer program. And that's one of the key things I want to highlight, because what does that help? It helps us to teach all our partners and to share all our knowledge, all our programs, every single document, every single technique, methodology we were able to share with our partners. First, we had it in Jamaica, and then we had the second one in Barbados. And they, in turn, can extend these programs to their entrepreneurs. And so I think that's what we do to our core. We solidify, we strengthen the partners that we work with to further support the entrepreneurs.
Thank you, Mr. Burrell. I know we have been saying a lot about CTCS, but it is because that was the original name, and that is why the interventions were implemented under CTCS. But as you know, going forward is CDB PROPEL. Okay, so for those of you in the audience and online, it's CDB PROPEL we're talking about now. Yes, Mr. Burrell, I appreciate your comment regarding the support we provided in proposal writing. It was something that we recognized internally because we were also experiencing challenges in getting projects through in terms of approval in a responsive manner. So we saw it was fitting to have this facility in place to help business organizations in particular to submit their proposals. So appreciate this. Okay. At this stage, I would like to ask a general question to each member of the panel. How can CDB continue supporting your organization's mandate and advancing MSME development in the region? I start with you, Mr. Joseph.
I think ladies were first.
No, we just changed. We just change it around.
Okay. CDB can continue to play a catalytic role in several areas for BNDA. First, institutional strengthening remains essential. As BNDA transition to a universal bank, we must strengthen governance, risk management, compliance, and internal controls. The continued technical assistance through CTCS would help consolidate these reforms. And second, digital transformation. Digital transformation is a priority for us. To reach rural and underserved community, BNDA must modernize its technology infrastructure, including digital payment, mobile banking, credit scoring, and core banking systems. CDB's expertise in digital innovation would significantly accelerate this transformation. And third, MSME product development. We remain to develop to support in both MSMEs in agricultural and non-agricultural sector. So we need to tailor some financial products for farmers, processors, and very important for us to highlight women entrepreneur and youth-led enterprise and cooperative. So technical support for value chain financing and MSME diagnostic will be instrumental. And finally, capacity building and regional knowledge exchange. That's what I'm here. And that will help BNDA strengthen its human capital and learn from success Caribbean institutions. So in essence, the CDB's continued support can help BNDA move decisively from strategy to implementation. Thank you.
Yes, we do recognize that having a strategy is not the end of it all. You need to implement it. And we stand ready to assist BNDA to implement the strategy and to assist you to the best of our ability. Bearing in mind, you have mentioned a number of areas there, and I'm not sure whether financially we'll be able to respond to all. Perhaps the president could assist us in that regard. Yes, but on a serious note, we'll continue our discussion in those areas, and we'll see how we can best assist BNDA. Ms. Banfield, same question. How can we continue supporting your organization?
And you know that we do need continued support. So thank you for asking. For us, the next phase is about scaling. And scaling what has already been built, because you have supported the development of a number of initiatives. And so the greatest opportunity really now lies with helping us to transition from developing frameworks and pilot programs to regional implementation and adoption. So the Tourism Human Capital Development project component 2, which just started, it continues that journey for us through the rollout of the update of the workforce management engine prototype, further development of the tourism pipeline project from digital resources to digitization of those resources and materials, so that on our very own LMS, or learning management system, and the introduction of innovation and entrepreneurship programming for tourism MSMEs, which forms part of this the second component of the project. But beyond that, there are 4 key areas where continued partnership with CDB PROPEL would have tremendous regional impact. First, as I said, scaling digital capability among tourism MSMEs through AI adoption, digital marketing, cybersecurity, and data-driven business management with the help of Epic Transformation Limited. In the first component of the project, we were able to take almost 30 tourism MSMEs through that process. And it was not just a one-off training. They had access to a platform that allowed them to continuously be able to share their experiences and to be able to get assistance and guidance from a technical standpoint from the person who facilitated that, the Epic Transformation who facilitated that on our behalf. Secondly, strengthening tourism entrepreneurship by expanding business incubation, as we heard earlier, and mentorship, coaching, and access to regional markets, particularly for women, youth, and emerging entrepreneurs in the tourism sector, and startups especially. We've been seeing a lot of startups. Thirdly, supporting regional workforce intelligence by fully implementing the workforce management engine, which we know will be a brilliant tool for this sector. It allows both it allows the countries as well as the employers to be able to standardize, job descriptions and performance management through a regional competency framework. So we are hoping for that to grow and really be able to assist the sector. And finally, support lifelong learning through stackable micro-learning, micro-credentials, online learning and professional development pathways that will allow our tourism workers and entrepreneurs to continually upgrade their skills as the industry evolves. So in short, the opportunity now is really just to move from capacity building to capacity scaling on both the supply and demand sides of the industry.
Yeah, thanks for this. Mr. Burrell.
Oh, thank you, man. So one of the things we can look at is the data. Over the years, over the 3 years, we have supported we're seeing over 1,000 applications. We have supported over 300 entrepreneurs within the program. Each year, close to 100 or thereabout, approximately. In Suriname, we have seen a 2-to-1 in terms of female startup versus male startup. Female startup in Suriname far surpass male startups, and I found that to be amazing. It's St. Lucia is the closest where it comes to that ratio we haven't seen. Jamaica, however, my God, it's it's more like 5-to-1. Yes, male to female. So that's something that we're looking to bridge the gap where Jamaica and Trinidad and Tobago is concerned. But we're seeing closer relationship or closer proximity in Suriname and in St. Lucia, Barbados, somewhere there. It's not far off. It's somewhere there, 60-40. Yeah, yeah. I hope my data coincides with are close to what the bank have or any the other entities has. But so that's something that we can use to see how we tailor our programs and how we bridge the gap in terms of our target markets and our support. Our program, our climate launchpad program, is really a pipeline for growth and commercialization. And what we have seen, the 300 entrepreneurs that we have supported over the years, more than 25% has gone on to get additional funding. I think in the amount of 20,000 USD to 45, about of that 50% of that 25% would have gotten funding in excess of 40,000 US dollars, while the next 50% would have gotten there about 20,000 thereabout. And so we want to continue to scale and see the entrepreneurs really commercialize to make an impact. So one of the things that I personally from CCSE want to look at is the infrastructure. Entrepreneurs right across the Caribbean, they have their products, but how do they get their products to market? How do they get to, apart from social media, we kind of have like a central marketplace where they, even from, and because financing is always a challenge. And so if a platform can be provided where they can start out and then they can branch into their own website, so forth and so on as you go along. So, but these are some of the things that we want to look at, or we want to commercialize and scale, and kind of assess the entrepreneurs too, because we don't want to see the entrepreneurs just moving across in different programs, but to really making the impact. Are they creating jobs? Are they creating the environmental impact that was intended to? Are we having those outcomes? So those are some of the KPIs and outcomes we're currently looking at and assessing to see how the CDB through PROPEL can continue to help us to see those success.
Ms. Gallo.
Okay, so how we can continue to work, I'm going to look at it in terms of three specific area: value, expansion, and regional collaborations. In terms of value, over the years, we have seen that the organizations under the Youth Business Caribbean umbrella, which is what our consortium is called, we have strengthened the capacity of some of the organization. There is still room for additional organizational strengthening of these organizations so that we are more able to support the entrepreneurs that come to us. This strengthening we can look at in terms of digital transformation, the integration of digital into the way we do things. We still are a little too manual in the way we do things. So I'd like to see us working more strongly towards getting things to a digital realm. Monitoring and evaluation systems is another one that is greatly needed by our organizations, because we recognize the paucity of information across the region. I think I was having a conversation with Lisa over the last few weeks where we were talking about how there isn't a lot of data to drive the decisions that we're making as it relates to supporting our entrepreneurs to growth. Although there is data in terms of evaluations that's being done, accessibility to those data for the decision is where the problem is. So if there's a library where we can get that data from through monitoring and evaluation systems and through data collection tools, that will be very useful to what we want to do going forward. Staff development, staff retention is another big thing for our organizations. As small organizations that are not able to really give our staff market rates, we tend to have a little too high turnover. So if there is a way for there to be some support in terms of helping the organization to retain good skills and capacity, that is another one. And innovative adoption of innovative business support methodology. So best practices, learning from others, that is another way. In terms of expansion, we're talking about investment readiness, because how can we get our entrepreneurs to move from grant funding to dependence on debt financing into the realm of investment, where we start talking about equity financing, venture capital funding, in terms of selling their businesses as ones that have value that shareholders can buy into. So investment readiness, digital adoption in the businesses of the entrepreneurs. How can we teach them and help them to promote digital adoption into what they're doing? Export development in the region. A lot of our entrepreneurs are thinking about their local market, and they're not seeing how what they're doing can be exported to other locals, even to our diaspora, so that people who are from the Caribbean can enjoy the joys of the culture that they grew up in, and how can they really benefit from the work of the entrepreneurs that we are supporting. Access to finance, business innovation to achieve sustainable growth, because a lot of the times our businesses that we support, if they last 5 years, is because they get additional support. And so we want more of our businesses lasting, going the course and lasting. So that is another area. So it's growth entrepreneurs that we want to support. We have so much support for startup, but when it comes to getting the entrepreneurs beyond startup, that's when the level of support diminishes. And the last one, in terms of regional collaboration, we want to see more opportunities for cross-border networking, events, activities, those kind of things. Joint programming is another one that we see is very important. Market linkages, somebody said that before. How can we link with other territories within the member states of CDB, outside of the Caribbean, that we can showcase the products and services of our entrepreneurs? Shared learning, and those things we believe would create a more cohesive Caribbean entrepreneurial ecosystem and enable our MSMEs to scale beyond their domestic markets.
Thank you very much. I'm glad in a way I asked this question, but at the same time, whether I should be beating myself now, because it's like, your views and recommendations is really challenging us here at CDB, and to see how CDB, through CDB PROPEL, we'll be able to respond to your needs. But we take everything on board. We have started working together and we'll continue to do so. And based on, or given the resources that we have and our ability to respond, we will work collectively and see what can be done. Okay, thank you for that. Yes. Sorry. So at this point, we wanted to ask the audience if there are any questions, at least one question before we conclude. Any questions?
If there are any questions, just raise your hand and a mic will be brought to you. Please introduce yourself when you take the floor as well. Thanks.
Thank you for this very, very enlightening panel and very interesting conversation. I would like to ask something more about the point of the missing middle question. the problem of early growth that was raised. After the startup, how do you ensure that there is enough resources, equity, quasi-equity, and debt that allow the growth of the companies? So how do you see this in perspective as an element of support that CDB Propel can help on? Thank you.
So I'm going to start, and then everybody else can jump in and support the issue. So we have in the Caribbean, we love the idea of starting businesses. So it is organizations like BYBT, what we seek to do, and the other Youth Business Caribbean members, what we seek to do is provide that enabling environment that the entrepreneurs feel comfortable to grow beyond where they are. And I would like to see, let me put the plug here. Kellyanne was one of our early entrepreneurs that we support, and I am so very proud to see how far she's gotten. So it is creating that pipeline, as was said earlier. In what we do is the ecosystem support. So who within the ecosystem is providing what support to whom? And how can we facilitate the introduction and partnership with these entities to ensure that not one entity is providing all of the support, but together we are ensuring that the entrepreneurs remain at the heart of what we do and that we all work together to get them to where they need to be. My organization may be very good at getting you to build out your ideas and help you to make that ideas come to fruition. But when it comes to supporting them beyond there, I think that another organization may be able to hold their hand and get them to that stage. And I also say, when we start talking investment, who within our ecosystem is doing investment very well? We do not need to do it ourselves. So creating effective, strategic, and supportive partnerships that will help the entrepreneurs to move on to where they need to be. So whenever we have entrepreneurs who need to go towards export, that is not my forte. I am going to call the people at Export Barbados or Export TNT or Export wherever they are and let them move them towards that stage. Preparing them to be better able to get that support, making them marketable is what we do.
Okay, I just want to add one component to that. No, Propel over the years would have gotten the entrepreneurs or have an excellent support system, capacity building, nowhere in the growth stage, as said by my colleague. What we are seeing, the investment facilities currently in the market are not matching the current stock of entrepreneurs that needs the investment. The requirement, oh, $5 million, you must making $1 million, generating $1 million a year. For entrepreneur, for businesses or MSME making that much money, they're not in need of the support. And I said they want it or it can help them to scale, but not in need. So what we're seeing, the investment facilities that are available are not matching the entrepreneurs that needs it the most. So I'm going to encourage Propel that we look at the market, look at the entrepreneurs, and let the investment facilities to match the entrepreneurs that really need these investments.
Okay, thank you very much. We have time for one more question. One more question, please.
Good morning. I am Jahim Thomas. I am a member of the Future Leaders Network cluster, a member of it, the cluster. I just have one question. With respect to the MSME, no, I want to know what will be the relationship with youth in terms of the support of the MSME, Propel, and the informal employment. Reason I'm asking this is because we have a lot of young people who are in or actually doing entrepreneurial work, but they start out sometimes may have support, but there's no social protection, no consumer protection, nothing that says they can transition from that informal way of operating or employment to the formal or becoming that having the status of formal employment to actually strengthen them and keep them safe in the market or sector. So I just want to know what then would be the relationship between the PROPEL, even if it's sensitization, more on the street or on the ground sensitization with respect to youth, curriculum sensitization, whatever, with respect to, again, the relationship between youth and the employment or formal employment and the MSME or PROPEL.
Okay, so since you start off by talking my language, youth and entrepreneurship, I'm going to start the conversation again. So the relationship is this: CDB PROPEL would go into partnership with the entrepreneurial support organizations who are providing support to the youth or young persons, MSMEs. And this relationship would be based on the capacity and the work that the entrepreneurship support organizations are doing. Now, in my case, our programs, we have a three-pronged program. In our program, we start with personal development, we go through career planning, and then we bring you to entrepreneurship. The reason that we do our program this way is because we want you to understand where your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats are. Understanding who you are would give you a better idea as to how you should frame your career, which are the jobs and activities that you will do throughout your life to bring you to that state of accomplishment that you are seeking. So in our career phase, what we then do is help our young persons, but BYBT now has an open age limit, help our young persons or whomever comes to us to understand whether or not workplace or entrepreneurship is their journey. Getting them to understand what they need to do, and assessment is also part of this process, because we recognize that not everyone is fit to be an entrepreneur. All right? And so it is at that phase we will get you to define what is your next step. A lot of our resources are being taken up training people who are not really entrepreneurs. And then when they drop out, they feel the frustration and the organization feels despondent because we would have left somebody behind. So it is getting the young person to know who are the players within the market so that they can find their entry points and they can get the right type of support that they need so that they can then make the decision as to what they need to do. So CDB partners with the ESO. I'm just summarizing now. CDB partners with the ESO. The ESO does the promotion that showcases what they do so that the young person can then be attracted to the right ESO that will support them through their journey towards achievement and attainment.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Question?
Yes. Thank you very much for this. You have clearly outlined the way I would have said it in terms of how we work, because we don't work directly with young persons. We do so through business organizations such as BYBT. So thanks for this. So I trust your question has been answered. And yes, and going forward, you continue liaising with us. Kimberly is there. You could work with liaise with her, and then we'll see how we can work collectively. Okay, thank you. Now, in the interest of time, let me just give one last opportunity to each of our panelists just to give their last words or comments before we conclude officially.
Okay, just really wanted to say on behalf of the Caribbean Tourism Organization, congratulations to CDB on the launch of CDB PROPEL. We are looking forward to continuing this relationship and continuing to work with you to be able to fulfill your mandate and at the same time, of course, be able to fulfill our mandate. A lot of what we see with CDB PROPEL aligns very much with CTO's Reimagine plan, so we see the synergies. And we're just looking forward to continuing this journey with you. Wishing you all the best.
Can I say ditto? But from the Caribbean Climate Innovation Center, we really want to express our gratitude as well for all the programs that we have executed over the years, for allowing us to strengthen our partners across the Caribbean, our reach with the entrepreneurs in the different sectors, and continue to be sustainable. Sustainability is one of the biggest challenges we face. Man, can I tell you? and PROPEL, as is one of our key and cornerstone why the CCSC is still around today. So I must extend, my heartfelt gratitude to the Caribbean Development Bank for the continued support and the programs that you've been, executing over the years through us. Thanks again.
The partnership between CDB as a whole, CDB as a whole organization, the CTCS, and now with CDB PROPEL has demonstrated that the value of investing is not only in the entrepreneurs, but also in the institutions, in the systems, in the support network and mechanism that supports them. So strong entrepreneurs support strong organizations. We recognize that. But creating the strong entrepreneurs, it is necessary for us all to work together to support those stronger business and ultimately the economies that we are hoping to build up in the Caribbean. So what I'm saying in closing is that we continue to look forward to all of those strong partnerships that we have created over the years and working with CDB and CDB PROPEL to ensure that there is more resilience, there is more innovation, and there is also an inclusive Caribbean private sector, public sector economy through working with PROPEL.
Yeah, I would like to highlight in front of the president of the Caribbean Development Bank. CDB is one of the best organizations across the continent. I repeat, across the continent. And I don't know for what reason the actual president name is Mr. Best. I don't know why, but I have this opportunity to work with other organizations, and I never had this joy and hope that I have had from CDB. I think your organizational culture explains something. Let me tell you a short story. When I have landed to Barbados last Saturday, I have met a taxi driver. And I asked her, that was a woman, and I asked her, what is your music name? She said, Calypso. And I said, is it close to reggae? She said, no, it's more fast than reggae. And I said, if the music is fast, you must be fast also. That's the reason I think you are so dynamic in this bag. Because of your music also. So I really appreciate your help that you provide to BNDI in the AED. And I would like to express my sincere appreciation to the Caribbean Development Bank and the CTC network for their continued commitment to supporting institutions across the region. For BNDA, this collaboration has been more than a technical support. It has been a catalyst of institutional renewal, strategic clarity, and a renewed sense of purpose. Yeah, as we move forward, we remain deeply committed to expanding financial inclusion, supporting MSMEs. We believe that MSMEs are the model of the economy. If you need if you want to have a dynamic economy, if you want to reach a economic growth, you need first to think about MSMEs. If the MSMEs are stronger, the economy will be also stronger. And I think this support is strengthening Haiti's economic resilience because of the support of CDB. And we think you can use our bank as a platform to meet the MSMEs in the country, because we can help to screening MSMEs and to see what type of a business can help you to achieve your goal. And this bank, CDB, its policy hit the ground. You can see the result. Okay, it is not theory, it is practical. Yes, it is pragmatical. So that's important to highlight that, and I repeat in front of the president of the bank, because this is a great opportunity to lead an organization that your employee can help you to be proud. That's very important, and I'm very happy to be here today. So we look forward to continuing our partnership with CDB as we translate our strategy vision into concrete, measurable impact for farmers, entrepreneurs, and communities nationwide. Thank you.
Indeed, that's very interesting to hear. Yeah, thank you very much. You're giving me more sense of purpose to continue working to assist in the development of MSMEs in the region. So at this point, I'd like to say special thanks to you, panelists, for your contributions, to you, the audience, for your attention and participation. And we look forward to continue working with your respective institutions as we seek to advance MSMEs in the region through CDB PROPEL. Thank you.
Round of applause. Thank you so much. Thank you again to our panelists. We've come to the close of today's formal program. Let us reflect as we close on the insights shared, the partnership strengthened, and the continued commitment to empowering MSMEs across our region. Today's discussions have reinforced the critical role of collaboration, and I see several of our partners in the room here this morning, so thank you. It reinforces innovation and investment in supporting MSME development. On behalf of the Caribbean Development Bank and of course the PSD team, I wish to extend sincere thanks to President Best and the leadership team for joining us this morning. Our speakers, panelists, of course, Monsieur Joseph, merci pour votre présence. Mr. From CCIC as well for traveling over the weekend to join us. Our valued partners, our communications and IT team, and of course, colleagues in the PSD division. Thank you for your professionalism, collaboration in making today's event a success. In the coming months, as you would have heard, you would see an increased momentum as we roll out our program. So look out for CDB PROPEL coming to a city near you. And we really want to thank you, and we look forward to our partnership over the coming months and years. We encourage you to stay connected through our communications channels for updates on upcoming opportunities. This now brings us to the end of the formal proceedings. We invite you to stay, connect, and continue the conversation over some refreshments. Thank you. Have a wonderful day. To our speakers, if I just ask our speakers to hang back with President for a quick photo op. Right here? Okay, we'll do it right here. Thank you so much.